So the Spurs a legit threat in the Western Conference?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kings 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Hope you had a great Monday and having a good work week. And as always, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day as I adjust my microphone here. Hope y'all are doing good. And as always, subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. And what is that? Subscribe, become an everydayer. If you are an everydayer, thank you for being an everydayer. We appreciate it. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at the Spurs' upcoming season. Can you believe it starts tomorrow? It starts tomorrow at Dallas. Just wild. I thought, didn't the Thunder just get crowned champions like 2 minutes ago? Seriously, that's how fast the offseason flew. But nevertheless, we're going to be asking the big question here as we are just staring at game one. Are the Spurs a legit threat in the West? Many think so. Many think they could be a surprise team. We're going to talk about that. And then, are there any last-minute changes we've got to see on the, well, at least defensively, offensively, for your silver and black as they get ready to play the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow night in Dallas. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into things, and let's go to bring in our guest. He is Mr. Rudy Campos of Sweep the League and the Sports Answer. Once again, joining us via audio only today. Rudy, welcome back.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me back. And jealous, you got to spend a whole lot of time with some big-time celebrities this past weekend.
That I did. I hung out with Vecna, basically the actor who portrays the big baddie in Stranger Things, Jamie Campbell Bower. I hung out with, get this, the cast of Mortal Kombat movie 1995. Sitting next to me was Liu Kang. Next to him is Scorpion. And down the row from me was Reptile. It was crazy.
Crazy. Robin Cho, man, that guy went from Mortal Kombat to Beverly Hills Ninja. So he's an actor that can play so many different roles.
He actually talked about that role during the panel session, and he shared a funny story that when he went to meet the late, great Chris Farley, that they met him at a restaurant, and he had told Robin that how much he's been training, how much he's been getting ready for the role to play a ninja. And then Robin looked at him and says, "But you're still fat." So he shared a hilarious story about that. But it was nevertheless a great time at Big Texas Con. If you went out there, you got to meet me. You got free Spurs swag, sunglasses, bandana, and I got to meet a lot of new people. Well, friends that I see on social media, they got to meet in person, such as the guy who handles our bumpers, our nerd bumpers, Megatron and Spider-Man, the artwork, Rhino SATX, met Leno Hernandez, an artist in the Valley. All good. So many good things. But nevertheless, you guys are here for some Spurs talk. Let's get into it. So, Rudy, the season's tomorrow, all right? So here we go. But before we enter the season, the Spurs finished the preseason undefeated 5-0, just taking care of business on that court. I know you don't want to take much from preseason because it is just preseason, but nevertheless, based on what we saw, do you think this Spurs team is a legit threat in the West?
A legit threat? I'm going to say, sorry, Spurs fans, not just yet. They're a threat. They're going to make some noise. I think the national media guys are really hyping them down when it comes to this team. They're going to be a way better team than a lot of the national media guys, especially on the four-letter network, are talking about. They're going to be a threat, but they're not going to be like a contender type threat this season. You're talking about two teams, obviously OKC and Denver. Denver reloading, probably Nikola Jokic's best roster that he's played with in his career. So, those two teams are hands down probably the 1 and 2 in the West. You've got other teams that reloaded in the offseason. It's going to be a very difficult time for the Spurs in the Western Conference, but legit threat, no. A threat to make noise and maybe knock off one of these top teams, I say yes on that instance.
You know what? I agree with you as far as title host, but I disagree. Well, I guess I do agree that ultimately in the fact that they are going to be a threat, though. They are going to be a threat. This is a team that opposing teams cannot say on the calendar, oh, yeah, Spurs are next. Yes, chalk up a W. I think that's not where the Spurs are at right now. Let's just say it's crucial down the season and you're playing against OKC. OKC thinks they're all in gravy train here, and take the Spurs lightly, and they end up losing to San Antonio, and it may cost them some playoff seeding. I think that's how other teams cannot look at the Spurs anymore. They have in the past few seasons. Spurs are loaded with talent. Starts with Victor. You got Fox, you got Cass, you got Harper, you got Sohan and Keldon and Depp, and then the list goes on and on. It's a very deep team. Throughout this season, Rudy, I do expect the Spurs to not only be not to sleep, but a team that every win they're going to get the opponent's best shot. I think they're there. I think they're going to come out on that court, and the opposing teams will look at the Spurs and say, yeah, we can't take this team lightly. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree completely 100% on that. They're not a team that's going to be, where you've got a lot of the other teams just kind of chalking them up as a win. And, that's where I think a lot of the media master guys are looking at is it's kind of what you and I talk about in the past with the Spurs. We just don't really know this team right now. I mean, it's a pretty much a whole new coaching resume. It is a whole new coaching resume. You've got a lot of new guys in the offseason that are joining the Spurs. You've got, a lot more youth. You've got a good amount of veterans on this team that's going to be able to help a lot of these younger guys grow. So we really don't know, but you're right. Teams on their schedule, they're looking at San Antonio. This is not a guaranteed win. This is going to be a tougher Spurs team right now that they're going to have to go up against. And to be honest, when you look at the Western Conference, Jeff, other than Denver, I even think with OKC, they can match up. A healthy Spurs team can match up with a lot of these other teams, to include OKC. I mean, they went out and got Cornette, so a Cornette-Wemby duo can actually go up against a Chet Holmgren and Hardenstein duo. So I like that they were able to match what OKC is doing. Now it's just that chemistry part that we got to see. If they kick it into top gear like OKC does on the chemistry side, then we could maybe be back on Locked On Spurs and talk about legitimate threat.
Yeah, I think this first team will be a spoiler times 10. This is a team that if they get into the playoffs, get into a play-in scenario, this is a team that's either going to advance via the play-in, or if they get a 1 through 6 spot, say they get the 5th or the 6th, then they're going to be a team where, hey, are you really surprised that I'm making this up, beat Houston and they advance, that they beat the Clippers and they advance? I don't think anybody will be surprised. And speaking of surprise, a lot of NBA talking heads out there, just say, "Oh, the Spurs team, they're their pick for their surprise team next year." It's them. But you know what? Let's talk about that when we get back. Are the Spurs also really a surprise team? We're going to hear what Rudy has to say and myself coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards that you can use when you pay rent through Built. You earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around the entire neighborhood. You'll love that with Built, your rent can finally work for you. You're earning points every month on something you already have. Whether you're grabbing food at your favorite restaurant or heading to the gym, you'll earn rewards ASAP. Built has made every life feel more rewarding, from your neighborhood to your travel plans. When you turn to rent, you want to look to Built. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use that link so they know that we sent you. When I found out Skims has making underwear for men, I have to admit I was pretty excited. I've been buying Skims now for a while, and it's, I'm just raving about this comfort, how easy it is, just to feel so great in those Skims. And well, you know what? I love it, and I really, really enjoy wearing Skims. Look, you feel like you're just in heaven. You're just comfortable with it. The fabric is soft. It's a winner, everybody. Skims came out with recently their cotton 5-inch boxer brief, and honestly, it puts other brands to shame. They hit right in the thigh and they stay there. That's the key. They don't move around. They don't bag out. They don't give you that 5 p.m. wedgie. If you're a boxer brief guy like me, this is the one. You got to get Skims right now. Go and, let me tell you something. Go shop Skims right now at skims.com/LockedOnNBA. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show, Locked On Spurs, in the drop-down menu that follows.
And if you're looking for the perfect gift for the whole family, Skims launched their biggest holiday shop ever, also available at skims.com/LockedOnNBA.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Mr. Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer and Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. More on that later. So we're talking about the Spurs being a legit threat. Now, Rudy and I in the first second said they're not a threat to the title, Western Conference Finals, but they are a threat to other teams that are chasing those dreams of a deep, deep playoff run. They're loaded with talent, et cetera. So this goes on and on. But you're seeing or hearing as well, Rudy, that a lot of people are saying, oh, the Spurs are a surprise team in the West. They're a surprise team. I don't think they should be considered a surprise team. If you were paying attention, this team was coming for a couple seasons already. Once they got Victor, it was done. This was a team you had to have on the radar. I don't think calling this Spurs team is a surprise. Nobody should be surprised if they have a winning record and then some next season. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, agreeable 100%. I think a lot of the national guys are taking the easy way out by calling the Spurs with a surprise team. I mean, it's kind of obvious the team that was on paper last season, they were good. Obviously, they weren't good enough to make it into a plan, but you saw the improvement. And then they went out in the offseason and they just loaded up with talent, veteran talent, as well as youth in the draft by Harper and Bryant. If you've been a listener of Locked On Spurs, you would have seen 2 years ago, I said the summer of 2025, 2026, that season was going to be the turnaround point. We're starting to see it. That's when they had a whole lot of cap space. They had some guys coming off. They were able to build to the draft. There was a very good 2025 NBA draft. It was pretty loaded. So everything was set in stone already a few years back. And now the NBA guys saying, oh, you know what? They're going to be a surprise team. Come on. It's the easy way out. They're not a surprise team. They've been last year was a surprise. They were a lot better than I thought they were going to be last season. This year, it's all about stamping their name into getting back into the playoffs. No less in the play-in. There's no surprise here at all.
Yeah, exactly. And when I think surprise team, I think a team that's not on the radar. For example, everybody has the Jazz as that team that's going to be circling the drain. If they're chasing the play-in spot, I'll be okay. That's a surprise team. Kings, that's a surprise team. Pelicans, that's a surprise team. But the Spurs are not a Spurs team. Rudy, do you think this team has the entire NBA, Eastern, Westerns, whatever team it is, that this is a team that should be on notice?
Oh, yeah. This is the team that definitely is going to get a lot of NBA coaches, that extra film session to try to figure out what's going on. Year 3 of Victor, you're talking about a top 4, top 5 MVP candidate already. You're looking at, like I said, the defense is going to be a whole lot better. They should be one of the better defending teams, if not the best defending team in the NBA this season. A lot of pluses are going to be going their way. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is going to be not a surprise season. It's going to be the turnaround season when they're going to start making their way towards that playoff push. And like I said, minimum play-in, but I feel right now you still got that playoff push in you.
Yeah, I definitely have them in a playoff situation. Advancing, that remains to be seen, but I've been on record saying, look, if they make the first round and they get a gentleman's sweep, they get swept or maybe push 6 games, I think that is all beneficial for the Spurs team. They still haven't taken their lumps in the postseason. They've taken their lumps regular season. They now need to go to the next level, which is postseason and learning lessons. Look at what Chris Paul said in his last season, and actually his last chat with Spurs media. What did he say? He goes, I hope that guys like Stefan Castle go look at and go visit and attend an NBA playoff game so they can see the difference. This Spurs team hasn't seen that difference. Obviously, they do have guys that have been in the postseason, Olynyk, Barnes, the list goes on and on, but again, for the majority of the young core that's going to be beyond a Barnes, playing wise down the road, Olynyk down the road, Luke Cornett down the road. This is a team that needs those lumps. So I'm looking forward to that. Ultimately, Rudy, this is not a surprise team. This is not a team that should be taken lightly. This is a threat in the Western Conference, but a legitimate threat to your Denvers, your OKC. I guess I don't even know who else you lump in there. Houston,
maybe Golden State.
Golden State, yeah, they're not there yet. But, I'll leave you with this thought, Rudy. I think anything short of a first round playoff berth is going to be not good, right? Would you even consider a play-in berth not good?
So for me, I'm one of those guys that my standards, I guess, or my expectation is low. So I'm good with the play-in berth. I'm good in there because you kind of get a little bit of that playoff feel. You're fighting for that opportunity to get into the playoffs. You could see them, hey, they could pull off a Miami Heat type play-in and go, all the way to the finals. I think that one year they went all the way to the finals through the play-in. So, I mean, I'm okay with the play-in spot because it gives them that extra, game or two at the end of the season. I think hitting the playoffs and what they do in the playoffs, I think that's icing on the cake for this team. And then you're starting to play with house money. Whatever happens, happens. Remember, you've got a really, really good free agent class at the end of next season or at the end of this season coming up as well. And the Spurs are still going to have cap space. They still got picks to play with. Yeah. So it's just all about getting to that. Honestly, it's about getting to that 47, 48, possibly 50 wins this season. And the rest can just fall into place.
Absolutely. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League and the Sports Answer. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. When we get back, we're going to ask a little big question. What's any last minute change you think the Spurs should do ahead of tomorrow night's game versus Dallas on the court, either offensively or defensively? We're going to be talking about that right here on Locked On Spurs. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overage, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. You'll love that you're getting the same quality service you had before, but for a fraction of the price. Setup is super easy. Keep your number, and then they'll be running it in minutes. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payment of $45 is required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 GB on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Mr. Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer and Sweep the League. He's going to brag about that in just a few minutes. Rudy, got Dallas tomorrow night. I can't believe I'm saying this after so long. Spurs at Dallas. Regular season opener. Should be a good one. You got Wemby. You got Anthony Davis. I don't even know if he's playing, but seriously, you got a Dallas team that, speaking of don't be sleeping on, that's another team you should not be sleeping on. But nevertheless, should be a good game. But what did you say this? If you were head coach Mitch Johnson or on that coaching staff, and you're looking at your notes, you're saying, man, we just do this one last thing ahead of Dallas and we should be good. What would it be, Rudy?
For me, it's an easy thing to do, but it's hard thing to do. You saw it in the preseason. You saw how Wemby was becoming more of a distributor. He was able to get guys like Barnes and his other players, Champagne. They were able to get off some 3-point attempts, some really good looks. They were clogging the paint because Victor was in there. That's the one thing. I need to get Victor, pull him off the side, say, hey, man, I know you want to knock down them 3-point shots. I know you want to do this, but I kind of need you to get into the paint, driving through the basket, find those open guys. They're going to collapse on you majority of the time. Find your open man. Give us a higher percentage jump shot. When you're open, it's a higher percentage shot. So that's my biggest thing going into the Dallas game is pulling the side, say, hey, you can score. You can play defense. Great. Be that facilitator out of the paint. A lot of Spurs teams were fantastic when Tim Duncan, it was 4 down. He got into the post. He made the extra pass. That's it. Put it on the board. Extra pass. That's what we need to see from the Spurs.
Yeah. For me, if I'm Coach Mitch Johnson, man, what am I doing? You know what I'm doing, Rudy? I'm sending them all to the Victory Capital Performance Center, lining up that free throw line and taking about 100 free throws each. That's what I'm doing. Because if we have some preseason numbers for
from the line.
What's that?
Have we ever had a good Spurs team from the line? I can't remember.
Yeah, me neither. But if you look at the preseason stats here, I got them up and pull them up. The Spurs finished 77% from the free throw line. 77% shooting from the free throw line. Now, look at attempts here. Again, they were a little low. They took 30 attempts from the charity stripe. But again, yeah, free throw percentage was a little too low, in my opinion. You are pro players. Free throws are something they're taught at a young age. And yeah, it looks like they're not finding the bottom of the net. I'm definitely trotting out these Spurs. Like Victor 100, Sohan 100, Castle 100. Just break that, whatever curse is on that free throw line, get it fixed before the game versus Dallas. I think it's the little things that matter. You heard Mitch Johnson talk about this, attention to detail. Those things make a difference in an L or a W. That could be it. So I got to see that free throw percentage get better. If I had my wish ahead of the Dallas game. All right, he is Mr. Rudy Campos of Sweep the League and the Sports Answer. How is the Sports Answer doing? What is going on at Sweep the League?
Man, so Sweep the League is doing really well. Of course, another show got dropped. It's called The Corn Flip with Elias, and that kicked off really, really well. So be sure to go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV. You can hit that subscribe button, get all the content we've got there, and also Answer Now TV on YouTube. Subscribe there. Why? Because you get myself, you get Derek Irvin on the Sports Answer. And we talk for 30 minutes right now. We've got some big announcements that we can't really announce right now.
Nice.
But starting the new year, the possibilities are there to get a little more. I'll just say that. But the only way for you to make sure you get those announcements, and be sure to check out Derek Irvin and myself, is by going to the Answer Now TV on YouTube, hitting that subscribe button, searching for the Sports Answer. It's right now the best 30 minutes in sports in San Antonio. So definitely don't want to miss it.
Yeah, it's a great show. If you want to just get away, not just run Spurs talk, but if you want to get into some NFL, just overall sports, you want to go to the Sports and Answer. Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos, they're holding it down for you. As always, Rudy, thank you for your time. I know you're busy at work, hence the whole audio. We won't tell you about to do on the show, all right? We know you're incognito right now.
Sure hope not. I sure hope not.
Exactly. All right, Rudy, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Everybody else, thank y'all for making the Locked On Spurs the first listen each and every day. Free to available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Ken Spy Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. What is that? Subscribe ASAP. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about Game 1. Can you imagine that? All right, well, it's here. We'll be talking Spurs Mavericks tomorrow on Locked On Spurs. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On NBA on YouTube. Just go on YouTube, look for Locked On NBA, and hit that subscribe button for those guys as well. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.